So the question is, and it was actually the same question he posed in his opening remarks, why do you want the position of County Commissioner President?
So this will be a much shorter answer, I presume. Well, that's right. No, I appreciate that very much. It goes back to something that I think I started to say a little bit ago, and that is that we've accomplished an awful lot in Charles County in just these last 3.5 years. And certainly you're going to hear a lot of issues tonight. But the important thing I think to keep in mind is the bigger picture. And when you sit in the position of a county commissioner, you have to look at the larger picture. It is true, and we look at the things like economic development as an example. It's a very important issue. But until we solve our overcrowded schools, until we solve our transportation issues, and until we serve how we grow, it's going to be very difficult to bring people in. But I will tell you, despite that, since we've been in office, we were able to bring in Greenberg and Gibbons that are going to be developing a major development up at the north end of Charles County, the gateway to Charles County. We were able to negotiate with Lennar, and it's no longer St. Charles City. I don't know whether you know this or not, but St. Charles is no longer owned by St. Charles Company. It's owned by Lennar. And we were able to negotiate fewer homes because we have to address our transportation issue. We have to address schools and overcrowded schools. My point is, there are so many different issues here, and you have to be able to look at the whole picture. We've been doing that. I would like to be able to continue that, because if we started to negotiate this, we want to be able to continue with these companies and this process in a way that makes sure that Charles County gets the best that we can out of them. And so that's critical. What we don't want to have happen is to have to start all over again with some of these companies that have come in. So there's many more. And one of the things I will say, we talk about economic development. Charles County just got opportunity zone. We asked for 3 opportunity zones: Indian Head, our work in Waldorf, and the Waldorf Station. That's going to bring in millions of dollars of federal funds into Charles County. We did that by working with our governor and the state of Maryland to bring that here. So that will help tremendously in economic development, and it matters that you have the kinds of relationships that are necessary to bring that kind of stuff here. So that's just a small sample of some of the things, but the message is we need to continue the good work that's already been started and the projects that are already in place. Thank you.
Next up is Ruben Collins.
If the people allow me the opportunity to hold the gavel for the county, I will, as the very first measure of the board, seek the initiation of having the board meet on more than once every 2 weeks, but to actually address the need and to create a working board of county commissioners that are meeting on a regular basis, because the commitment should be for our board to ensure that our economic security is in place and that we make a priority for our citizens to increase our commercial tax base. But that can't be done if our board is meeting on a part-time basis. It should be something where, again, we have a working board of commissioners that are totally committed to being champions for business development. That's the only way it's going to happen, and we have to have a measured and a full thought-through approach to how we want to initiate economic development. In my opinion, the direction should be through infrastructure projects, because that will jumpstart the economy and it will also provide jobs for our residents. Of course, it will be a board's decision, but I want to make it clear, my commitment is totally to ensuring that economic prosperity comes to our community and we provide more jobs for all of our citizens.
Next speaking will be Brian Claus.
Before deciding to run for county commissioner and clearing this with my wife, one of the things that really animated me to be more involved was the recent watershed conservation district that was just enacted here in Charles County. And the one thing that I felt was missing from that was I didn't feel like I was treated as a neighbor. Many of you in here that I see now were active in all of those meetings. And we made our voices heard, and in my opinion, we had zoning restrictions placed on us that were draconian in nature and did nothing to support economic development in the side of the county in which it was imposed. We have tremendous assets in western Charles County, which were devalued and put at risk with the removal of all of the commercial and industrial zoning around the airport and on the western side of Charles County. That's a message that goes out to business that you're not welcome here. And in a part of the county that needs that help the most, you don't come in and beat it over the head with a sledgehammer. So one thing that I see as a county commissioner president is setting an agenda that's more friendly to our residents, that respects the rights of its citizens and collaborates to find a good, viable solution to accomplish what all of us want: protect our environment and improve our quality of life. Thank you.
Last, we'll have Henry Thompson.
The importance of the board of the president for the board of commissioners for the county is we need to encourage business growth and corporations to come into the area. That provides good jobs for our young people and would make jobs and careers and stuff to keep our young people in this area. Every time they go out to Baltimore, Washington, D.C., or Northern Virginia to drive for 2 hours in the morning to work and 2 hours in the evening, that's non-productive time each day, driving back and forth. Not to mention the times when there are accidents, bad weather, all kinds of other things that cause the traffic to be diverted off onto side streets and whatnot. That extends their time in the commute back and forth. All those times are non-productive hours. And over years and years that go by, we're coming out behind when all that goes on. We also have so many other issues with the transportation and whatnot, and we can't seem to get those solved. So the best thing to do is we need to start bringing in corporations and businesses into the area and create a more business-friendly environment. We need to be able to get good jobs here in the area and increase our tax base by doing that. Why do we want the tax base increased? That puts less of a burden on the homeowner and property owner. They don't have to pay as much each year if we have more and more businesses in the area. We desperately need that stuff to be done in the community, and I think the job of the president of the county commissioners is very important in that role. So please consider all those facts when you vote for the next president of the county commissioners.